USS Gerald R. Ford is out at sea. The aircraft carrier finally left for its first warfighting deployment.
And this deployment is an exciting opportunity for the U.S. Navy to demonstrate Ford's capabilities to the world.
Over the years, the United States has faced significant geopolitical tensions in East Asia, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. Notably, China has been consistently increasing its military spending and equipping its warships with hypersonic missiles, while North Korea has stealthily armed its ships and submarines with nuclear weapons. Despite these developments, the United States military remains confident in its position as the dominant global military power. And in a recent podcast, renowned astrophysicist Neil Degrasse Tyson shared an alarming revelation. The US Navy has developed military equipment and weapons of unparalleled sophistication that are virtually unstoppable. So join us in this video as we learn about the newest US Navy weaponry capable of causing catastrophic damage. The United States military has a reputation for developing some of the most advanced weapons in warfare, and the US Navy has recently made a remarkable achievement with the laser-powered USS Gerald Ford ship. This naval vessel, named after President Gerald Ford, who served in World War II, is the lead ship among the United States Navy aircraft carriers. The creation of this largest and most expensive warship required a trade-off of $13.3 billion, making it a significant investment for the United States. The USS Gerald Ford represents the country's ambition to build the next generation of warships. Measuring 333 meters in length, the Gerald Ford is now the world's largest aircraft carrier, designed to ensure the United States maintains its superiority in naval warfare. With a 5-acre flight deck and equipped with the latest military technologies, this impressive vessel serves as a powerful deterrent to potential adversaries, particularly China, whose increasing military capabilities have raised concerns within the Pentagon. After a long and challenging journey, the USS Gerald Ford is finally ready to be deployed, marking a major milestone. The realization of this dream took 21 years, starting from a simple concept and culminating in its official inclusion in the US fleet in May 2023. However, the path to completion was far from smooth. The sheer size of the warship magnified the problems encountered during the past decade, resulting in significant delays and cost overruns. The ship's deployment was postponed for several years, and its budget exceeded the original estimates by billions of dollars. The main source of these issues was not the ship itself, but rather the sophisticated equipment it was meant to carry, including the electromagnetic aircraft launch system, advanced weapons elevators, and advanced arresting gear. These upgraded components, intended to enhance efficiency, instead became sources of discord and disagreement among the Navy, lawmakers, and even former President Donald Trump. Furthermore, as recently as March, the ship remains incomplete. Construction continued until a few months ago, but it is now complete, ending an era where it took 6 years for a ship to become seaworthy after delivery. Fortunately, extensive training exercises and tests have confirmed that the USS Gerald Ford is prepared for assignment to a combatant commander, equipped with reliable onboard systems that will enable it to operate effectively. Speaking of onboard systems, the USS Gerald Ford is not only an impressive addition to the US fleet, but also boasts remarkable capabilities. One of the key priorities for the Navy is the inclusion of hypersonic missiles on board. Recognizing their importance, military leaders have made these advanced weapons a top priority in the Pentagon's 2024 budget proposal, which has been submitted to Congress. They are seeking a funding allocation of $11 billion specifically for the development and acquisition of hypersonic and long-range missiles with the aim of ensuring the safety and security of the United States. The request for funding is supported by successful tests conducted over the past year, further validating the need for these advanced weapons. Moreover, Ford's towering presence exceeds 9 stories above the waterline and carries a staggering weight of 97,000 tons, a substantial increase of 32,000 tons compared to the largest battleships utilized during World War II. However, its impressive size does not compromise its speed. Propelled by 2 advanced A-1B nuclear reactors, the ship possesses nearly triple the amount of America's current supercarriers, generating a remarkable 300 megawatts of electrical power, as confirmed by the Navy. Witnessing its presence on the water is akin to observing an entire block of New York City gliding past at a rapid 34 miles per hour. Nonetheless, the introduction of advanced anti-ship missiles by China poses a significant threat that could render Ford and the entire Pacific Fleet of the Navy obsolete. These missiles possess the capability to maneuver at hypersonic speeds, surpassing Mach 5, putting at risk the most advanced ships currently traversing the oceans. Similar to how Japan employed squadrons of attack planes, an emerging technology during World War II, to sink powerful US and British battleships, these new missiles have the potential to annihilate even the most sophisticated vessels. An alarming report from the Congressional Research Service, last updated in August 2022, expresses concerns regarding the vulnerability of Navy surface ships in potential combat scenarios against adversaries such as China. The report highlights the presence of large numbers of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, and advanced anti-ship missiles possessed by these adversaries, further exacerbating the apprehension about the survivability of Navy ships. Although Russia also possesses hypersonic weapons, it is China that primarily worries the Navy. China has extensively expanded the size of its naval fleet over the past decade and has developed various anti-ship weapons, including remarkably maneuverable hypersonic missiles capable of reaching an astounding Mach 10. China openly acknowledges the purpose of these weapons: to deter American ships. In fact, one of China's weapons testing sites, concealed within the Taklamakan Desert, contains full-scale replicas of US aircraft carriers that are used for target practice. China's military buildup occurs during a critical period for the region. The nation asserts its sovereignty over a vast portion of the South China Sea, which extends thousands of miles from its own shores. However, these territorial claims are highly disputed, as international law only recognises claims up to 12 nautical miles from the coast. Jason Lyons, a retired Marine and former CIA officer, explains that America's allies in the area rely on the presence of the US Navy to safeguard the freedom of shipping lanes. This situation places the Pacific Fleet at risk from China's anti-ship missiles and drones, leaving it without reliable defence or the ability to launch effective counterattacks. Unfortunately, the F/A-18 Super Hornet and the F-35C Joint Strike Fighter, the fighter aircraft aboard US aircraft carriers, have limited reach, typically unable to strike targets more than approximately 700 miles away. This poses not only a challenge for the US Navy, but also an existential crisis. While vessels like the Ford possess an array of anti-missile defences, none of them can adequately protect the ship in a prolonged battle against China's latest weaponry. In order to maintain dominance in the Pacific and ensure the survival of its ships, the Navy is fully embracing a technology that has remained elusive for decades: lasers. The advantages of laser technology are incredibly appealing. Powered by Ford's substantial nuclear reactors, lasers operate at the speed of light, effectively neutralizing the threat of hypersonic weapons. They can be quickly reloaded to repel swarms of drones, and they eliminate the need for ammunition stockpiles, offering ships virtually limitless firing capabilities. And recently in a podcast, Neil Degrasse Tyson revealed that a hypersonic missile is an extremely delicate weapon with minimal margins for error. Any disruption, whether it's related to temperature, electricity, or optics, can lead to the missile malfunctioning or even being destroyed. These missiles are particularly vulnerable during flight, making it relatively easy to eliminate them if you have a precise aim. By directing a beam of high-powered radiation towards a missile, it is possible to penetrate its antennas and interfere with the navigation system, thereby disrupting its intended trajectory. In recent times, defence contractors have conducted tests using lasers with lower power levels. One of these tests successfully shot down a drone earlier this year. However, a reliable laser with sufficient power to effectively counter hypersonic missiles is still several years away from development. Despite this, the Pentagon maintains confidence in this emerging technology. In fact, this year, the Pentagon made the decision to terminate research on two other promising weapons: railguns and special gun-launched guided projectiles, GLGPs, which were initially considered as potential defense mechanisms for the fleet against modern weaponry. With these projects now put on hold, the pressing question arises: can the Navy expedite the development of this technology quickly enough to counter the threat before it becomes too late? To address this, Lockheed Martin's high-energy laser weapon known as Helios could offer a potential solution. These directed energy weapons have become a priority for the country, and extensive research is being conducted to develop their own hypersonic missiles. The USS Gerald R. Ford operates as part of a carrier strike group, sailing alongside other naval vessels such as destroyers, cruisers, frigates, and potentially submarines. Two of these ships are primarily dedicated to air defense, acting as the first line of defense against enemy attacks. Equipped with powerful onboard radars, they can detect threats like hypersonic missiles from distances exceeding 200 miles. In case of close encounters, these ships are armed with surface-to-air missiles. Additionally, the Navy's Phalanx close-in weapon system, featuring radar-controlled Gatling cannons, can rapidly fire up to 4,500 rounds per minute. This carrier strike group is equipped with sufficient weaponry to effectively neutralize any foreign threat in the sky. However, once the ships exhaust their interceptors, they become vulnerable and need to restock their supplies. While some munitions can be replenished at sea, missiles require resupplying at port. This poses a challenge known as the depth of magazine problem, which adversaries could exploit through coordinated attacks. The Pentagon believes that the most effective defense against swarming drones is the use of photons emitted by highly energized atoms. By applying electricity to atoms, ions, or molecules, they can be excited to emit light. This light can then be trapped between mirrors, intensifying the excitation of these particles. By channeling the amplified light into a focused beam and directing it at a target with the speed of light, a laser is created. Unlike the blasters depicted in Star Wars, laser beams do not explode upon impact with a target. Instead, they deliver intense heat. At lower power levels, lasers can disrupt the optical sensors of drones, while higher power levels can burn holes through them. Lasers essentially convert energy into ammunition, and powered by nuclear reactors like those on Ford, they can potentially fire thousands or even tens of thousands of times at incoming munitions. Moreover, laser beams travel at the speed of light, enabling them to track and engage unpredictable weapons like China's hypersonic DF-ZF more effectively than conventional missiles, eliminating the need for lead targeting or anticipatory adjustments. What are your thoughts on this? Share your opinions in the comments below.